Hey boys and girls, welcome back to Ni no Kuni 1, also known as Ni no Kuni Wrath of the White Witch, also known as our very first revisited series. There's only two that are planned at the moment, this game and also Angels of Death whenever we end up getting to it. The reason for it is because, one, I want to go back on these games since originally when I did it, I didn't know my place yet as a content creator. I wasn't really ready for it as I am now because of the fact that, one, I didn't talk as much as I did back when I did this series. I didn't really have the best setup, so you guys really couldn't even hear me in those series. And honestly, I didn't even know how to edit. So with that, we're actually going to be getting ourselves into our revisit of this game, and hoping that I actually can do this series a lot more justice than I did it originally. I also have some new things that I've actually figured out. So I actually figured out how to actually get rid of the camera at a moment's notice like this, which is pretty cool. So whenever any cutscene comes on, like a major one, I'm actually gonna let you guys just chill out and listen to the cutscene, and then I'll come back once the cutscenes are over, and then I'll give my own like little thoughts and kind of like how I think about certain situations in the game and stuff like that. So, with that, let's actually start off with our very first little cutscenes, since there is going to be, I believe, 3 to start out with. One I don't remember about, and 2 that are in the base game. So, since this is a remastered, since it has been remastered, this is actually going to be a lot better than it was when I originally played it, since I played it on the PS3, the original release. So we're actually playing it on my PC of all things, which I never actually thought was ever going to happen. Because when we did the series, I believe it was 2018, and 2019 was when they announced this and released it. So I never even knew they were even going to come out and remake this game. So that's actually really cool. So, with that, as soon as I hit the normal difficulty, I'm going to actually leave you guys to sit around with the cutscenes, since there is going to be a couple, and I want you guys to kind of just sit down and kind of relax, because those cutscenes are actually very important for the world building of the game, and I honestly think that if I talk over those, it'll ruin the enjoyment of the game. So, with that, I'll be right back with you guys and girls, and let's actually do this into Ni no Kuni 1 and basically my childhood. So, BRB boys and girls, and I'll see you very shortly. And with that, out goes me, and out goes the camera.
Get a move on, Ollie boy!
Slow down, Mr. Drippy.
But Ding Dong Dell's just down the way.
Huh?
Huh? Oh.
Huh? What do we do?
Run for it! Ah! Right. Let's get going, shall we?
Huh? Hey, wait for me! So this is your world.
That's right. A whole nother world. Beautiful, innit?
Good morning, Miss Layla.
Why, good morning, Oliver. Your groceries are over there, honey.
Thanks.
Oh, I almost forgot. Did Philip find you? He said he had something to show you, dear.
Really? So he finally finished it, huh? Do you know where he is right now?
He just stepped out with some deliveries for me. I doubt he'll have gotten far.
Thanks, Miss Layla.
Oh, say hi to your mother for me.
Sure thing, Miss Layla.
And with that, we are officially in the world of Ni no Kuni, also known as the real world. Although we will be eventually getting into the other world, which is where the actual main event of the story is going to take place, since it's going to be kind of cross worlds, basically, is how it's going to go. We're going to go into two different dimensions. You have their world and our world, and both are linked via one single thread, since every single person is connected to another person in both worlds. So, with that, let's actually do this.
Over here.
Hey, Phil. Oh, it's Phil. Yes, it is. And I'm gonna be honest, I actually tried doing this, I tried recording this the other day, and honestly, I felt that I should actually have a camera setup where I can actually get rid of the camera at a moment's notice, and honestly, having it the way I had it before just felt awkward, because you just have my top left, and just have me in the top left just being awkward and not knowing what to say, since, honestly, talking over the cutscenes just felt weird for me, because most of the games we do on this channel don't really have many cutscenes, and when they do, they're very insignificant, and this is one of those games where the cutscenes are actually important, so I felt like having that actually set up is actually a good thing. The only other time we had that was, well, it was for Tokyo Mirage Sessions, but for those, I already knew that I was going to be turning off the camera, so that one I would be able to easily do it, not as fast as I can do it now, but now we actually have that, so where I could just press one button and it's completely gone for my camera, and I'll know that I could just cut out my audio there for you guys, so you can just listen to the cutscenes and stuff. So with that, let's actually do this. Use the left stick to walk over to where Philip is standing. Approach Philip and a little emoticon will appear. Press A to speak with him. Okay, easy controls. Pretty easy to deal with, so let's do this. So, although the game is going to be voice acted, like as you can see with Philip here, they're not always going to be, so I will have to remember that, so sometimes they will talk and sometimes they won't, so when they're not talking, I'm actually going to try and do their voices like I normally would with these series that we do. So, let's get into this. What else would it be, dum-dum indeed? Actually, funny thing, if you actually look into the controller config, it actually tells you about the Philmobile actually pretty early, because of the fact that you actually don't get that until the post-game, after you complete the post-game. So I'm actually very surprised I actually tell you about all that, because I would like to have the Philmobile during the normal story, but if we were to have that, it would drastically make things 10 times easier, I think. Because if I remember correctly, you can actually run over the familiars with the thing. But with that, let's actually continue on with our story, because if I talk too much here, it's gonna take a little bit to actually get to where we need to get to, since this is just exposition, and it's kind of get you into the world building of the game. And then once we actually get to the actual other world, that's when the game will start going more into the combat and everything else that I would normally be ready for, since that's the kind of games I normally play. But let's do this. No, but once.
Okay, we'll do it tonight, but we'll have to be real quiet.
Real quiet. Solid Snake quiet, in fact.
Sure we will. Okay, tonight in my garage. Be there or be square.
Oh, how about I'll be square?
Sure.
I'm just joking. But let's get on out of here, though. And since this is technically a cutscene, I'll be right back as well.
Who will save the world?
Or so says the crystal ball, your radiance.
The dark Jinn's power alone will not suffice.
I fear not.
What is the child's name?
Oliver, your radiance.
Oliver.
Okay, and now with that cutscene actually over, I'm gonna try and not talk about any spoilers since, one, I have played through this game 3 times, one, when I originally played it, when I wasn't even thinking about ever doing anything like this. The second time was when we did the series, with me, like, back in 2018, and this will be technically my official 3rd playthrough to the finish of the game. Technically, I've had 4. One, I actually ended up quitting because I felt like I was too far behind, and I got stuck on a boss, and it's actually the Ice Wolf was where I actually ended up losing and had to start completely over, so technically I've had 4 playthroughs, but 1 failed one since I messed up, and I didn't know how actually much that you actually need to grind in this game when I originally played through it. But let's actually do this. The minimap will be displayed at the top right of the screen as you travel around. This map lets you see your immediate surroundings. Press the RB to switch to the local map, showing an overview of the whole town. The star mark lets you see where you go next. Your first port of call is Oliver's house. And with that, we are officially able to play the game. And this is where we start having our fun, because now that the first little bit of exposition is over, we're actually going to have a little bit more reign with our characters and stuff. And thankfully, people don't run you over in this game like all the other games, because let me be honest, AI in some of these games can be aggressive, I'll be honest. Because I think I've played, back when I never played it for YouTube or anything, but I played a little bit of, like, Watch Dogs and GTA and stuff like that, and the AI in those games will run you over no matter what you want to do, honestly, if I'll be completely honest. But with that, we're officially in our good old home.
I got the groceries. Thanks,
Yep,
sweetie.
we got the
Can I have them
groceries
on the
from Miss
table?
Layla. And when I mean by, I'll be gone during cutscenes like this, I feel like I wouldn't need to leave. I'm thinking more like, major cutscenes, so stuff like where the game completely goes into its own, like, little tangent. Like we saw with the White Witch just recently. I felt like that was a cutscene that I should leave you guys with, since it completely takes control away from you, I guess you could say.
Stop being so mysterious and eat your breakfast. You'll be late for school.
By the way, I just, actually talking about, Oliver and his story, I just recently watched the, Ni no Kuni, movie on Netflix, and I didn't even know it was on there, to be honest. So, talking about Oliver, I was actually very surprised to actually see him in the movie itself, because apparently, Oliver's still alive in, when Evermore is a thing, but this is after King Evan's story in Ni no Kuni. So I'm actually very surprised that he's actually still alive and kicking. So it's actually pretty cool to see Oliver as a kid again, honestly, since I just saw him as an old man. An old, rickety old man with, a nice, little bit of craziness to him, because no one knew what he was doing, or they thought he was senile, to be honest. But it was pretty cool. Oh, hey, Phil. You didn't go to school yet. School's small. Today's a special day, kiddo. Today's the day our dream machine finally rolls off the drawing board and onto the streets of Motorville. Oh boy, I can't wait. When can I see it? Whoa there, cowboy, not so loud. Don't forget this is our secret. Hey, dum-dum, you didn't tell your mom about it, did ya? No, I did not. I asked her if she was busy, and she said she has a concert practice, so she'll be in bed really early. Perfect. Then tonight's the night. You still in, kiddo? Sure am. Tonight at your garage, I'll be there. And actually, now thinking about that, I don't remember Oliver going to school, so... I wonder... Oh yeah, because time slows down, doesn't it? So, technically, when you're in the other world, they don't really remember you and stuff like that. I think that's how it is. Because when I was watching the Ni no Kuni movie, it kind of went more in detail about what happens when you actually leave the world. People actually forget you're actually a person, and then once you actually go into the world, and you actually are a part of it, they actually remember who you are. So it's kind of weird how that works and everything. I don't think it works with that with the people in the other world. They'll always remember you, but when it comes to the non-magical world, they actually completely forget about you like you weren't even a person, which is actually very kind of scary, to be honest, which I never even thought about that. But let's do this. She must be asleep by now. Well, neato. She's out like a light. Now's my chance. I have to get to Phil's garage. And with that, we officially have the ability to save. Press Y to open the main menu. You will then be presented with a range of options. Use all those buttons to select an option, and press A having chosen an option. You can return to the main menu by pressing B. Press it again to return to the game. Additional menu options will become available as you progress through the game, and basically, you'll get new items, and then those will technically be your menu options. So characters throughout the game will eventually give you things, like the Wizard's Companion, which will eventually get about, I'm gonna say, I think it's 5 minutes from now. Open the main menu and press the start button to save your game. Once you have saved your game, you can select continue from the title screen to restart from the point where you last left off. And with that, we're actually gonna make a nice save, since I feel like this time, I actually went a lot better than my previous time trying to save this, because as you can see, we have Welcome to Another World, and we also have Sneaking Out After Dark, which is actually where we're at right now. So let's actually save over Welcome to Another World, and we'll actually read out what our goal is here. Head over to Phil's garage, and let's do that. So with that, we actually can officially start our very first quest. So, let's go find Phil. And I believe he should be on the right side of the map, based on what I remember. So, as I said, I actually tried to do a video yesterday. Yesterday in my way, because right now it's actually New Year's. So, basically, it's 2021 right now, as in fact, actually, very first day. And honestly, I'm actually really looking forward to playing through this game, but as of the fact that this is a cutscene, so I'll be right back, and I'll be right with you guys and say kind of what my thoughts about this are after the fact of it, so BRB, boys and girls.
What is it with that kid? What kept you, Slowpoke?
Sorry, my mom just wouldn't go to bed. So, is it finished?
Sure is. The last bearing's in, and she's primed for action. Wanna see?
Do I ever?
All right. Here goes nothing.
Okay. Wow. Oh, is this neat? Phil, this is so neat.
You betcha.
It's so neat.
The new Coupe Deluxe ain't got nothing on us, Ollie.
It's not even close.
So, you ready to hit the road, kiddo?
Yeah!
Okay, now that we are officially back, so, that is actually the Philmobile, also known as Phil's little project that he's been working on for quite a little bit, honestly. But with that, let's actually start this off. Okay, there's no one around. We should take her outside now. So, Phil, who gets to drive first? Huh? Let me see now. Tell you what, kiddo, if you run down the street and make sure the coast is clear, I'll let you go first. You mean that? Oh boy, oh boy. Okay, wait right here. And watch out for Stary Mary, will ya? Stary Mary? You know the girl who's been spying on us before? I swear that kid is cracked. Aw, poor little girl. See, there she is again. I'll bet you that tattletale goes straight to her olds. She wouldn't do that. What are you, sweet on her or something? Go check out front already. Sure thing, Phil. I'll be right back. And let's do this. So as you can see, this is actually the Philmobile. This is actually something that technically you can unlock, but you have to actually beat the entire game. And that includes the Dreamer Maze. So the Dreamer Maze stuff is going to be like all the post-game stuff. I believe I will go over it again, like I did with the original series. So once we actually do get into, I don't know how I want to do this, like when it comes to side quests and things like that. But I feel like, I want to do it exactly how he did it in the previous one. we'll do, I think I'll try and do all the side quests. Unless I feel like it's too tedious, then I will maybe put a pin into it for certain ones, like, where you have to, like, make a specific weapon or something like that. Then maybe I might, like, completely skip over those. But if it's something like, the pieces apart or stuff like that I can easily do, then we'll make sure to do it. But honestly, I don't remember it being too hard to do certain quests like that, so... Because originally, we 100%ed the game, so I don't think it's going to be too hard to do again, and this time with a much better outlook on it, and a much better way to commentate, because when I originally did the series, I did not know how to talk to you guys, I'll be honest. This was 2018, when I wasn't even really a commentator yet, so... Honestly, I'm really happy to get into this game, and hopefully I can, like I said, do this game justice, and I want to do that for Angels of Death when we eventually go back to that game as well, since I really do feel like I owe both of these games a much better thing that I owe them much more than I gave them originally, because I feel like I could have done much better with those series, since... As I said, I wasn't really used to doing all this yet, so hopefully once we actually get to the other world, that's when things are going to start ramping up, and that's when where I get to finally start shining, since the game's holding us to just trying to tell us the main premise first, and that's the whole point of all the cutscenes, because once we get into the game, it's not going to be as cutscene heavy as it is right now, is what I'm trying to say. But after this one, I believe I do have to leave you guys, since it does go back into the full anime style, and that's what I mean by a major cutscene. So something like that, I'll be completely gone for, but something like this, where it's still using the character models from the actual, like, data and stuff like that, that's, I don't count that as a major cutscene, but I do count the actual where it goes in the anime style as a major cutscene. If you guys want more of a, more, like, literal meaning for that, since I do have one for that, is what I'm trying to say. I know it's a little convoluted and stuff like that, but that's what I mean.
Kinda busy tomorrow, huh?
And I also do know that there is going to be a problem later with the camera position, and that was a problem with Ni no Kuni 2, so... The problem in that one, it blocked off the actual weapon swapping area, but in this one it's actually going to block off the HP and MP for the main party member that's active at the moment. So, as of right now, I'll be right back, and we'll go back into that in the near future. So, BRB, boys and girls.
Listen to her purr. Ready? Take it slow to start with, okay?
Yep, got it.
All right. We have liftoff! Whoa!
Oliver? Oliver, wake up!
Mom?
Oh, sweetie, I'm so glad you're okay.
I'm sorry, Mom.
I'm sorry. I swear, if I'd known, I never would have.
Don't be silly, Phil. What about your car?
That hunk of junk, I can make another one in no time.
Well, I think you two have had quite enough excitement for one day.
Yes, ma'am. Ja!
Are you okay, Phil?
Must have twisted my ankle back there.
Whatever will you children get up to next?
Allie!
Allie?
Are you okay?
Mom? What's wrong?
Oh, my.
Mom?
She always did have a weak heart.
Mom?
Oh, dear.
I'll fetch the doctor.
Mom!
Oliver, sweetie. Oh, sweetie.
And with that, we actually have our very first driving point of this game.
Be good now.
And that is the very depressing beginning to the game itself. Because, as of right now, the main mother character is completely gone. And I'm not going to go into details on anything about her, because things about her can lead into spoiled territory, and I'm going to try as best as I can for newcomers to this, to not talk about spoilers for the most part. There's characters that have major spoilers if you were to talk about them. I can talk about other world counterparts, but when it comes to characters like her, I'm going to try and not talk about anything about things for future parts for them. So, as of right now, all I'm going to say is that she is dead, and that is the driving points. So, characters like Esther and Swain, and stuff like that, and Marcuson, all playable characters. You get teased for them, even in the remake. Well, in the original, I don't think they even teased them as all being playable. The only one that they teased was Esther, but everyone else was actually completely unknown to you, or at least I always thought of it that way. I don't remember them showing Marcuson or Swain off in the cutscenes originally. But with that, I'll be right back again, since we are getting ourselves into another major cutscene, so BRB, boys and girls.
Now, you'll just have to wait until dinner, Timmy told him. Oh, it's so sad. He's been in there 3 whole days now.
Oliver, Mummy starts her new job today, but she's asked someone very special to take care of you. Mummy spent a long time making him. I'm sure he'll look after you very well. Be good while Mummy's away, okay?
Mommy.
Is something wrong, sweetie?
Just come back soon, okay?
Of course, sweetie. We'll always be together, Oliver. Always. Always.
Mommy. Come back. Please.
Whoa, what's all this? Curse lifted, is it? Tiny! I'm free! Free!
Huh? What just happened?
You just witnessed the rebirth of Drippy.
Tidy! And Drippy has been reborn. So,
What are you, deaf or
Drippy
something?
is... well, Drippy's Drippy. He's gonna be a very... well, technically he's not gonna be, like, the nicest character at all times. It's just how he is. And although Drippy is a good guy, he's supposed to be a really... he's supposed to be a, he's supposed to be one of the, protagonists. So, do take what Drippy says with a grain of salt, because he doesn't always mean what he says, is what I'm gonna say now, since I feel like some people won't understand it nowadays, since he's very mean with some of the things he says sometimes. But as you'll see, he'll start growing on you eventually, so just give him some time and he'll actually become a really fun character to listen to.
It's like this, see? What it is there's more worlds out there than this one by here. There's what you might call parallel worlds, see? They're like...
So yeah, you got, as what he's trying to explain, I'll try and explain it in my own way. So, you have two different people in two different worlds. One person is in our world, the one that I would be in right now, and you guys. And then you have the other world, which is the magical world. And they're both connected via a link of some sort. If one gets sick, the other one will get sick. If one dies, the other one will die. And basically, if they die, both lights are snuffed out for either side, and everyone is connected to another person, and they'll always have some kind of resemblance to another person, basically. So, in order to go to this other world, you actually have to have either the ability to, either through learning magic, or be a very special person, and then you're able to go there because of, well, from my understanding, based on how the movie kind of explains it, because it goes more into it, is if you're a hero, you can go into the other world. And they're called wayfarers in the movie for some reason. Which, I don't understand why that's the case, because I don't remember ever hearing that, definition for it.
I mean, I can't do it.
Yeah, Drippy, you're not gonna get Oliver to do what you want. Not right now. You're gonna have to try a little bit harder than that. And you kinda have to pull at his heartstrings if you want to do that one, to be honest, bud.
But I don't know anything about your world.
Yep, he has no clue about you, buddy. And the reason for that is his mother has died and he just has no energy to do anything right now.
Yeah.
But with a little bit of pushing and a little bit of help, Oliver will eventually go to the other world. It's the whole point of the story. So, I'm gonna be honest, he will find Drippy will find a way to get him to go.
Blimey, it can't be! But then it can't be a coincidence, neither.
What is it?
The Great Sage Alicia.
Great Sage Alicia, also known as his mom's connection to the other world.
Yeah.
The souls of people in your world and my world are connected.
And this is what I was saying earlier, how you have soulmates in two different worlds. They'll look pretty much the same, or they'll have some kind of resemblance, either through personality, or, well, they look like their counterpart in the other world, basically. Because they won't always be the same in appearance, as you'll see eventually, is what I'm trying to say. And since she's now snared inside that little soul snare there, she's technically no longer a part of the world, and that's why his mom is no longer a thing. And that's why she's dead, and since she's in the soul snare, she counts as dead, since she's no longer living in that world. She's trapped in that world.
You've been a doll this whole time.
Ah, now there's clever of you. Good question, lad. It's like this, see? I'm not the only fairy. Even though
well, that's very true. But counting from the other game for Ni no Kuni 2, I honestly, I still don't understand why Lofty doesn't count as a fairy in that game. Since he's definitely looks like Drippy, and I'll be honest, but he counts as a dragon, so I don't know how Fae work in these games, since they're never the same, and we've only had 2 games, and then you have Crossworlds, which is the 3rd one, but it's only in Japan right now, or in beta or something like that. Well, it's not translated, so I can't play it, and I don't know Japanese. I would like to learn it at some point, but I definitely would like to understand how the Fae work in these games, since you have familiars in the first game, and then you don't in the second game, and they no longer exist. Well, technically they don't in a way, because of the fact that, familiars are a completely different being in the second game, in the fact that they are monsters instead that can't be tamed. And I'm very surprised that they didn't bring back the whole taming feature back into Ni no Kuni 2, because that was one of my favorite things from Ni no Kuni 1. That's why I always liked this game over... Well, I will always like Ni no Kuni 2, but I always felt like this one is more my calling, because I've always liked Pokemon-like games, and that was one of my main draws to this game, because I really like the whole, being able to have, like, your own monsters and be able to fight with them and stuff like that. And the fact that they're all magical and stuff like that really kind of, like, drawn me into this game in the first place. But yeah, when I originally found out about this game, it was back when it originally... Actually, I don't think it originally released. It was whenever, In the Littlewood did his first episode on it, and after he did his first one, I immediately left after watching the video to actually go and buy it, and thankfully I was able to find it pretty easily, in fact, and I got to have the probably one of the best times I've ever had in my life playing this game. This will always be my childhood, and honestly, I believe this is my favorite game because of the fact that it's very fun, and the story is very heartwarming throughout a lot of it, although there is some sad bits to it, and that's in any game you play, but it's honestly, there's a really good story throughout, well, it's overarching, and throughout each different games, you have a lot of likable characters, and you actually grow and you get to love the characters in the world that you're put into whenever you play one of these games. But as of right now, we've just obtained our Wizard's Companion, which is actually technically our second menu item now. Now listen up, I'm going to teach you what is what in that Wizard Companion of yours. If you want to have a read in it, press Y to open the main menu. You should see it down at the bottom right there. Then you just need to choose it with the A button, and you can leaf through the Wizard Companions of yours to heart's content. Take a minute or two to have a skim of a few pages, eh? You look like a smart lad, so I'm sure you'll soon get into it. Oh, I almost forgot. The first thing you should have done when you get your hands on a Wizard's Companion is to make a pledge. You need to vow that you'll do all you can to be worthy of a wizard. Don't look so flipping worried. It's not hard. All you have to do is write your name in the book with an open, honest heart. And if you don't you don't even have to write Oliver. If you don't want to, you can write Bunting, Crybaby, or whatever you like. The important thing is that you meant it. Go on, scribble your name down. And I would write my normal name in here, but actually, technically, you guys normally wouldn't even know my normal name. So, I won't say, my full name, but my friends have said my name on the channel, and that was because of complete accidents. And honestly, I think it's about time that you guys do know my normal name. It's actually Devin, but I don't usually go by it. I'd rather go by Optic, Spooks, or even DJ, which are all nicknames that a lot of my friends call me by. So honestly, I just feel more in tune when someone calls me that over my normal name, because only my family really uses my normal name for the most part, and like really, really, really close friends. And at the moment, my friends aren't really doing too hot with the close ones. My IRL friends are, I'm not having the goodest time with them right now. And I'll be honest with you guys, I kind of talked over it originally when we did the Fire Emblem Shadow Dragon NES release, and I kind of glossed over it a little bit with that. So with that, let's actually continue on with Spooks. And this is actually, I believe, where I originally ended the very first episode when I originally did this series. So, but we're going to go until we actually make it to their world. I feel like that's a much better place to actually leave you guys off on. But with that, are you happy with your with the name of Spooks? Yes, I am. You have taken the Wizard's Pledge, and are now privy to the timeless wisdom of the Wizard's Companion. And in order to actually get spells, we actually have to find pages. Unlike the other game for 2, where you actually have to build the spellcaster's little area, or sometimes you learn it through characters in the game, but in this game you actually have to find all the pages, which we'll find throughout the game, and I believe through certain quests and things. But thankfully you don't have to unlock them through waiting for them, because number 2 had a couple of those, like Spirit Medium was one of them, which you had to wait till you got to a certain point in the game, and then you had to wait like 40-50 minutes to actually unlock the spell. So thankfully in this game you can do everything at the snap of a finger as long as you're far enough into the game, and as long as you know what you're doing, you can easily do anything in this game. As long as it's possible, of course. But let's do this. Righto! Time to find ourselves a magic wand! You mean there's one hidden around here, like the spellbook? You're flipping having a laugh if you think I'm going to make it that easy, man. What do you think I am? Made of wizarding equipment? No, this one's going to be a little more difficult. But our journey over to my world is a hunt for the soul snare, among other things. So why don't you treat this as a warm-up? The Easter egg hunt before the wild goose chase, if you will. Okay, I guess. Okay, I'm lying. The thing is, I never brought a wand with me. I mean, look at me. The price of my lovability is my small snatcher, ain't it? I only just managed to carry that flipping bookman, and anymore, and I've been crushed. So, even fairies tell lies. Huh. Of course they do. Us fairies are incorrigible liars, anyway. No point crying over spilled milk. Let's find ourselves a substitute, shall we? A substitute? How can there be a substitute for a magic wand? Well, if you can't find something brown and sticky, like maybe a stick, we might be able to muddle through. Okay. You're sure a stick will work? Do you think I'm sending you up a garden path or something? Fine, I'll give you a hand. Follow me, Bunting. I'll follow you indeed, Mr. Drippy. It's been such a long time since I played through these games. And honestly, I love coming back to these every other year to just play through these again. And now I can do it just by booting up my PC and playing it on the fly. I don't have to pull out the old PS3 to play it. For instance, I'm playing it on an Xbox 360 controller of all things. It didn't even release on the Xbox for all I know. I don't even think it did. I think it was a PS3 exclusive, so it's wild. It's very wild. I played, Ni no Kuni 2 was readily available, so obviously an Xbox controller can be played with that since it was on PC, but this game was only a PS3 game originally, so it's just wild playing this with any kind of controller I want, honestly, and that's amazing. What are you looking at? Don't tell me you're thinking of using this lamppost as a flipping wand. Well, you can cut that out, for a start. It's way too flipping big. We need a stick or something like that, ain't it? Why don't we go and have a look over by there? Okay. Well, let's follow Mr. Drippy to his next location. And if I remember correctly, yep, it's a card. This one's proper tidy motorly. Might get meself one of these. Sorry, now it's not really the time, is it? There ain't anything wand-like over by here either. Let's go and look over the other side, shall we? Okay. Oh, and when you find something, don't forget to pop it in your bag for safekeeping. Look up at the top left of the main menu and you'll see your bottomless bag. In there you'll find all your items nicely sorted into different categories. There's handy. Use the L and RB buttons to shift through between categories. Of course, there ain't much to see at the moment, but when you've got loads of stuff, you'll be glad of a bit of order, ain't it? Anyway, next time you pocket a tidy item, be sure to have a closer look at it in your bottomless bag. Put it in my bag? Sure. The bottomless bag is now accessible from the main menu. I believe we now have 3 different items. So we have the Wizard's Companion, which will have a bunch of different things we can do with this. So you have the for all the chapters for the magic, and even creatures and familiars, although we don't have any yet. I think we can actually still see one if we really wanted to. So we also have our guardians, which will eventually be bosses and things. I believe, yeah, here we go. So this is actually one we used originally. I forgot what we ended up naming him, but we actually did use one of these little bighorns. They're actually pretty fun to use. But if I remember correctly, I believe... I actually don't remember which one we used. I think it ended up being the... I think it was the splatter horn, but I could be wrong. I'm not entirely sure which one it was, but we'll go into that when we actually get into that, because we won't be getting a familiar in this episode, since you don't get a familiar until, like, about, I think, hour 2 of the game, I think, if I remember correctly. But we'll leave that to that, and then we also have our bottomless bag, which will carry all our items. Oh, we actually do have things in here. A might ticket, a drawn... Oh, they actually give you the tickets for the DLC stuff. Like, the things that you would, have to actually... Ooh, it gives you golden ones. Oh, that's kind of cool. I want to actually use a Griffy. The Draggles are pretty cool, too. Ooh. I'm actually kind of happy about that, because those were on the PS3. In order to get the golden ones, you had to pre-order the game and get the pre-order bonus, like the actual big old collector's box, and then you got codes for all the golden characters. And then I believe Griffy was something with that as well, which was pretty hard to get it. And then I believe the Flutterbee as well, but the Draggle was a DLC that you can get on the PS3, but I believe you can only get it once, I think, if I remember correctly. So, thankfully, we can actually use these anytime we want. We'll wait until we actually get our might before we actually think about using any of those, though. But that's actually cool. I didn't even know that was a thing yet. So, that's pretty cool. But let's actually make our way to the right side of the map, since this will lead us to actually getting our first wand. But, as you'll see, it's technically not gonna be one, but... it's close enough, I guess. It's no use. There's nothing around here that looks like a wand.
You're not wrong, Bunting. Alright, we better split up. Then broaden the search like. I'll go and take another quick look around your house. You stay by here and head up the outside search, okay?
Okay. Well, we'll be seeing you later, Mr. Drippy. And if you're wondering, no one else can see Mr. Drippy except for Oliver, if you want to know about that. So only certain people can see certain people. There'll be a character that we'll have in a couple seconds. We've actually already seen her. Her name's P. She's a little green-haired girl that Oliver saw for a very short moment when we were talking with Phil over by his garage. Okay, brown and sticky, brown and sticky. Oliver! Huh? And this is where we'll actually meet her. Oh, it's you. Hello, P. Long time no see. So, I can't really go into too much details about her as well. Just like, the Great Sage Alicia and her.
How do you know who I am?
I'm gonna be completely silent on what I do know about these characters. If you really, really want to know about them, I suggest looking them up, or waiting till their story gets announced. Because I don't want to ruin the story for them, because they have their own lore and stuff like that, and I feel like if I just come out and say it in the very beginning of the game, it'd be way too early to release that knowledge to you guys. But P is like Drippy, where no one else can see her except for Oliver, not even Mr. Drippy or the rest of his party. And that's the only thing I'll explain about that, because it's gonna go a little bit into it, but it's not really going to explain it too much.
Anyway, there's something I want to ask you.
There is?
Yeah, what is it, Mr. Drippy?
Sure, go ahead.
Do you mind it, having a sidekick like?
A sidekick, you say?
Sidekick?
Well, knowing you, honestly, yes. I'll definitely have you as my sidekick, buddy. But Oliver's going to be a bit of a tough customer if you want him to allow you to join him.
What if you were maybe wanting to trade me in for a younger, prettier model?
A younger, prettier model? Honestly, Drippy, you're the youngest and prettiest one out there, out of all the fairies in my opinion, because you're the most notable. Other than Lofty, but I still like Drippy more than Lofty, if I'll be honest. Lofty's technically... he's cool in his own right, but he still feels like a knockoff Drippy at the end of the day. And also, he looks like Lisa Simpson, if I'll be honest. I know a lot of people think that. And honestly, I thought of that, like, right around when I first saw his his model and things. When I originally played through that game, because when we did the series, it was my second playthrough. But, yeah, when I originally played that on my own, just playing it on, like, just playing it like I normally would, like, right now, I actually really did think that, to be honest.
Maybe that girl brought it here for me?
Maybe she did, maybe she didn't. But you obtained an old stick. And just like, Ni no Kuni 2, a little reference goes a far way, because of the fact that an old stick ends up being a major symbol throughout the game, since in the first game you get a stick, in the second game you get a stick, and it has major meaning to it. Although it's not going to be this all-powerful thing, and honestly, it's just a major symbol of you're going to have a good adventure, basically. But let's do this.
Right, now we need a place to cast our spell.
Oh, I actually didn't expect him to start talking. Was he talking to begin with? I didn't even notice. I probably accidentally talked over him on accident there. Yeah, you really are.
What kind of question is that? Magic is special, innit? It's sacred, right?
Honestly, true. And knowing how big the gateway spell actually is, we're gonna need a lot of room. And I mean a lot.
You really are new to this, aren't you? This is beginner stuff we're talking about here.
Yeah, it is. And it's free. You don't even have to use any magic power to do this. You can literally cast it whenever you want. As long as you use it in the proper places, but once we actually get there, you can actually just use it anywhere. Unlike how Drippy's saying it here, because you can cast Gateway literally in the middle, right where we are right now, once we actually have it active, basically, is what I'm trying to say. But let's do this. Let's actually go find ourselves a nice, proper place to place us, and the town square would definitely be a good place to do so. So, let's make our way over to the town square, and then we'll officially be in their world, because, as of right now, we're on our very last little minute in the very beginning of the game, and this is when the story's going to ramp up completely. So, although we're not going to get as many cutscenes as like we did in this episode, because, well, we got a cutscene right here, so I'll be right back. So, BRB, talking about cutscenes.
See magic, see? Go on, Ollie boy, cast Gateway. That's it, man, you got it! Whoa! Whoa! Tidy!
What is it? Stop that now! Heel boy, heel!
Told you, they didn't notice a thing. Yeah. Let's get a shunt in, crybaby bunting.
For the last time, it's Oliver!
Hey, it's not bad work for a crybaby, this.
Oh.
And we're off to another world!
Hey, wait for me!
And with that, we are officially in their world. And also, I do want to bring up that I like how they actually go into the fact that dogs can see, or seem to see things that we can't. And I like how the dog was actually able to see the gateway appear. And they actually, they actually acknowledge it in the cutscene, so that's actually pretty funny. I always think that's, like, a nice attention to detail whenever I see that cutscene, because, I'll be honest, I've seen that cutscene quite a bit, and I've seen it yesterday, honestly, and honestly, I feel like this actually went a lot better than the previous one, since now I don't have to worry about talking over the cutscenes, and now I can easily, like, as you see, I can just we'll do it one more time, but I can literally do this. If I can find the button, that is. There we go. But I could literally do this if I really wanted to. And I'll stop doing it just in case, because there is people with epilepsy, and I don't know if I did it so fast to the point where it would, like, actually trigger that. So I'm sorry if it was a little fast, but I just wanted to use it as an emphasis that I literally have full control over my camera now, which is pretty cool. And I could have easily done that before, but I guess I was just stupid and never really thought about it. And also, I never really needed to originally, but also just to do it one more time, just to show you, this was going to be a problem here, because I was trying to go into it before, but as you can see, the HP and the MP is actually underneath the camera. This is the only place I can think of where the camera can go. So, although it's going to be over the HP and the MP, it's not going to be really a major problem, because you'll know when I'm low, because I'll even announce it. And also, I think it shows it in the bottom right of the screen when you summon your familiars and stuff. So, we don't have to really worry about that. So, this is the best place it's going to be, because I know this game, and I know Ni no Kuni 2, where there was no place, like, I would have to put it, like, in the middle of the screen, basically, just so we wouldn't be blocking something. And honestly, putting the camera in a weird spot like that would just be, it'd just be awkward, I guess, because I know for me, it's weird when seeing a camera not in a uniform position. Usually the camera's supposed to be in one of the corners, and that's just something that's been a thing since, well, ever since, like, Let's Plays have been a major thing, and I've always been used to it being in the corner, so I get OCD about it, so I just feel like it's better off that it's in the corner than putting it somewhere random, like some people do, because on my streams, technically, sometimes they put it in the middle of the screen somewhere, and honestly, I just feel like that's a weird spot. But with that, let's actually get into the game, since that's all technical stuff, and I think people are more interested in the actual game itself. But let's do this.
Don't fret, Donny boy. Let your old pal Drippy talk to you through with the basics of battle. First off, take a look at the green gauge by there. That shows your health points. Your HP you have. The healthier you are, but if you run out, you'll go unconscious. And see the blue gauge underneath that. That's your magic points, MP ain't it? Don't worry about magic for now, man. Let's talk about the beasties first, shall we?
And that is actually going to be where the monster's HP will be, always in the top, somewhere in the top right.
You can see lots of information about them by here. On the right, there's usefully. The red gauge shows you their HP. Get that down to nothing and you've won. And see these speech bubble thingies down by here, and are the commands you can use in battle. Well, that's enough to be going on with. Try giving the rotter a smack with your stick. Just use the L2 and R2 buttons to select attack. Confirm your choice with the A button and bombs your uncle. Righto, get cracking with the whacking.
And get cracking with the whacking we shall do, since we actually don't have any magic. And we won't be getting any magic until, well, we find our first page. And that's gonna be a little bit from now.
Tidy, or should I say nice. That's what they say when you find an enemy's weak spot, or block a big attack see. Oh-ho, and look at that. It's dropped something. You'd best pick it up, eh?
And let's grab ourselves a Glim, which will actually either heal you, well, restore your mana, or sometimes even give you Awakenings, which will be the fact of giving you a special ability, and every familiar and character is going to have their own special one.
That's what's known as a glim, Molly boy. Enemies drop them in the heat of battle. Green glims like that are one you just grabbed will restore a few of your HP, and blue ones will give your MP instead. Same color as the gauge, see, tidy. Oh, and you can also give your HP and MP a boost with spells and items, ain't it? Course you'll have to take my word for that. That with you not having any at the moment. Okie dokie. That's enough from me. It's time for you to practice what I preach. Go on, boy Bosh, and give 'em what for.
And with that, let's actually defeat our very first battle, since the only thing we can do here is smack this poor Ruff across the face with our wand. Or stick, as you can say, because technically it is a wand, but it's more of like a real life stick, to be honest. Because we won't really be able to cast any spells with a random stick. Unless we can somehow make it work as a wand, but I don't remember if it does become one. I don't think it does. If I'll be completely honest, I really don't think so. There's things I don't remember, and that is one of them.
Well, first off, we need to get you a wand.
Yeah, we really need a wand. And once we get a wand, we can actually start casting spells. And when we start casting spells, that's when we'll actually have a chance in battle, since smacking somebody with a stick is, although it's going to do some damage, it's not going to save us in the nick of battle, because of the fact that the monsters will eventually get stronger and stronger, and Oliver is not really a melee character. He is going to be a long-range character for the most part. And familiar sender, basically. Because every character in this game is going to be a familiar user. True on that one.
Cursed anyone who tried to. He scared them all so much they gave it up.
And the reason for that, if you have magic, you have power. And if you have power, you have the ability to somehow uprise. And that is not what Shadar wants. Or the White Witch, in fact. Since the White Witch is going to be I believe technically she's the boss of Shadar. Although technically not fully, because Shadar's his own thing, but the White Witch controls everyone else, basically, is what I'm trying to say. And I can explain that since that's not really a spoiler, because the White Witch is the main antagonist, and Shadar is his own antagonist. You have two antagonists in this game. Although the White Witch is more of a main antagonist, and she's the more of the character pulling the strings in the background. And that's all really go into that, since anything more will be an actual spoiler.
And the legends say that the pure-hearted one will drive away the darkness. We'll teach you a few
and that is indeed the case of the legend. But is Oliver indeed the pure-hearted one? Well, we'll find out eventually. Because we don't have any magic, and we can't really tell that yet.
Alright, let's head for Ding Dong Dell.
Ding Dong Dell is our next place of points, and honestly, like I said, we were going to make it till the point where we actually got into the other world. And this is actually where we'll be ending this off. But we do have one more dialogue from Drippy, so let's go through that real quick.
Ain't it beautiful, Ollie boy? Ah, it's good to be back. Our world is absolutely riddled with monsters. If one of them spots you, you'll see a big exclamation mark pop over its head, and it'll charge. When it gets within touching distance, you'll have to fight it on your hands. If you run out of HP in the middle of a battle, it'll be out for the count, so be careful, ain't it? Oh, and here's a tidy little technique for you. If you sneak up behind a monster without them noticing, you can get the first hit in, giving you the upper hand. The only thing is, it works on the other way around too. If a monster sneaks up on you, they'll be able to get the first hit in, the Ratas. Oh yeah, here. It's just a little something, consider it a gift from the High Lord of the Fairies.
You obtained 3 loaves of white bread, which will be a healing item in this game. Thanks, but what do I do with these?
Just have a munch on one of these when you're feeling a bit ropey, and you'll be right as rain in no time, man. But a wizard cannot live by bread alone, Ollie boy. He needs a proper wand and all, and that knobbly thing in your hands is doing my flipping head in. See that big castle in the north? That's Ding Dong Dell, that is. I reckon we'll find ourselves a wand by there. So let's get moving, shall we?
Okay. And with that, we are officially able to traverse the world. Although I didn't actually expect a monster to chase us down as soon as we got out of that cutscene, but you know what? We'll find off with it real quick. We might even be able to hit level 2 here. Ooh, really oof, that was bad. I actually didn't expect him to actually cast a spell immediately, and usually the monsters don't do that right away. But since we are playing on normal mode, I believe that's actually correct in a way. Although, I am gonna have to probably heal, but thankfully we don't have to worry that much since we are right next to Ding Dong Dell, and we're like pretty much right there, so we don't have to worry about taking any damage yet. So, as of that, thank you all for watching today's episode. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace out, boys and girls, and thankfully, we actually got this one right on cue, and we actually did it better than the first recording I tried, because the first recording didn't do as good as this one, and now I'm actually, like, fully in. We're gonna be getting into the main story in the next one, since the exposition points are all done, and I won't be cut off as much now, since now that we're actually in this world, the cutscenes won't be as often, so I'll get to hang out with you guys a lot more. So, thank you all for watching, have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you all in the next episode. Peace out, boys and girls, and see you all later. Peace out. Hey, boys and girls, thank you all for watching today's episode. If you liked what you saw today, please leave a like and maybe even subscribe. And hit the bell notification down below. If you guys have any kind of suggestions for games, please put that in the comments down below as well. Thank you all for watching today's episode, and keep being spooky. Peace out, guys.